Alright guys, I'm back with my second movie review of the day. This is The Descent, 2005 movie, requested by Laserhead, and I really do like this movie a lot. I saw it when it first came out, and I was a big fan of it. I even like the sequel. I know some people don't really care that much for it, and yes, it's not as good as the original, but it's still a good movie. And this one has a lot of those moments where you're gonna jump. When the monsters just show up and pop out of nowhere, you will jump at this movie. But it's a really good movie, and it has a cool concept, so I definitely recommend you guys check this one out. But it starts off, in the past, we see one of the girls. Well, let me start by telling you the premise. This group of girls goes down into a cave. They go caving, and it's something they do regularly, and then they come across this like race of monsters. They're blind because they live in the darkness, but they're also like humans. And we don't really know what happened or why they're down there, but they eat people and other animals. So anyway, in the past, we see one of the girls, the main girl, Sarah. She loses her husband and daughter in a car wreck. She's the only survivor. She's really distraught. Her friends bring her on a caving trip to America to make her feel better. I assume it's North Carolina. They showed a North Carolina plate. My home state. Cheap pop. But yeah, so they go on this caving expedition. And they go down a cave, and Sarah gets stuck. Immediately, she's stuck in between these rocks. They get her out in time, but then the exit collapses and they're closed in. They can't get help because no one knows they're there. They were supposed to go to this safe cave that was more like a tourist attraction. However, some of the girls didn't think it was as fun. They wanted to take the risk. This cave's never been explored before, so they went to this uncharted cave, and now they're kind of screwed. So no one knows they're there. They they reach a big drop off a cliff, and they have to use these ropes to get across. They use the little spikes to build the ropes, and the last girl that goes across, the spikes collapse, the rope starts to fall, but they save her, so she ends up okay. They find some really old equipment though, which means other people have been down into these caves before. However, if they had survived, then they would have named the cave. So that means other people have been here before, but they didn't make it out. So they find an old drawing on the cave saying there's another way out, there's two exits. And then another girl, Holly, falls down a hole and breaks her leg. Sarah goes off on her own, and she sees something in the tunnel. It's the first time we see the creature. It's these like really kind of look like Nosferatu actually. Just pale and really small, and they can climb up the walls and shit like Spider-Man. So she sees it, but then it runs away. The others don't believe her because of what happened with the accident and everything she's going through personally. So they fix Holly up. She's got a limp. They get to another room full of animal bones and multiple tunnels, so they really don't know which way to go. And then the monster attacks. This was an awesome jump scene. I jumped hardcore here, even though I've seen the movie before, because it's been years. Like I said, it came out in 2005. So they're looking around this tunnel, and it's like this green light, kind of like night vision. And then we see this monster just standing behind one of the girls drooling. And I was like, holy shit. But so the monster attacks them, and they get into this big fight. Holly gets killed. Juno attacks one of the monsters when they're trying to steal Holly's body. And another girl, I think her name was Beth, comes up, and Juno turns around thinking it's a monster and just stabs her with this climbing equipment that just goes through the back of her neck and out her throat. And she's like... So Juno actually kills one of the girls by accident here. The other girls get separated. One girl ends up in a feeding room, which was Sarah. She ends up in a feeding room with a video camera. So that was some cool scenes where the monsters are eating, and like I said, they're blind. They can't see. They have to use sound. And so Sarah has this camera, and you just see it, and one of the monsters is like growling at the camera. Pretty cool scene here. Another two have a scene where the monsters are walking over them and their watch goes off. So the monster comes back, but they throw the watch in time. Juno meets up with those girls, and they actually kill one of the monsters. They examine the body, and they find out that it's blind, it hunts like a bat, and they leave through an exit to go hunting. They have like a way out into a forest, and they leave that, and they drag down like deer and other animals, but they also eat humans. So that's how they survive. They decide that they have to get the hell out of here, obviously, and Juno says she's not leaving without Sarah. We see Sarah still in the feeding room, and the girl Juno killed gets dropped down. She's still alive, actually, and she tells Sarah that Juno did this to her. Sarah kills her to end her suffering before the monsters return to eat her. Then one attacks Sarah, she kills it, and then a female monster shows up. The only difference is they got boobs and some hair. So a female monster shows up, and she runs, but she falls in a big pool of blood. She stabs the monster in the eye. Another monster shows up, but she plays dead and then kills it from behind with a club. Some good fight scenes in this movie, and some good gore too. So the others run into a group of monsters, and the two girls end up getting killed, except for Juno. Juno falls into a pit of water, and she kills a monster with, I don't know what this was, it looked like a titty twister. She's in the water, the monster's in the water, and she just grabs its nipple and twists, and we see blood, and then the monster just spits out blood and dies. There could be something I'm missing here, but yeah, that's what it looked like to me. So Sarah pulls Juno out of the water and asks her about the other girls, but she says, you know, they're all dead. They get surrounded. We're left with Sarah and Juno. They're trying to make their way out of the cave. They get surrounded by these monsters. We get a big fight scene. This was pretty gory. The girls are like stabbing them in the eyes with their thumbs, clubbing them in the head. Juno's smashing their head into the rocks. Pretty intense. But Sarah, they fight the monsters off, and then Sarah, because Juno killed Rebecca, she stabs her in the leg with the climbing equipment and leaves her for the monsters to eat her. And I'm thinking, wow, was that necessary? I mean, you didn't even ask to hear her side of what happened. It was an accident. Yes, she killed the girl, but I mean, holy shit, you're in a cave where it's completely dark. You're being attacked by these grotesque Nosferatu-looking monsters. You're fighting them off, and you turn around and you accidentally kill the girl in a dark cave. I understand that it would piss you off, but enough to leave her to suffer and be eaten alive? I mean, that's pretty hardcore. I mean, if it was me and I'm stuck in a cave, I probably would have killed some people too, just trying to survive. So I mean, it was a pretty strange moment here, I thought, in my opinion. So Sarah stabs her in the leg, leaves her for the monsters. Then she finds her way out. She sees the exit, and she leaves the cave. She runs, she gets in the car, she drives away. She stops on the side of the road and just has a breakdown. She rolls the window down and pukes. And then when she lifts her head back up, we see the ghost of Juno in the passenger seat. And then she wakes up, and she's still in the cave. She sees a vision of her daughter, and the movie ends. So you don't really know, does Sarah survive or not? I'm not going to give away spoilers for The Descent 2, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But The Descent is an awesome movie, and I thought overall it was just really well done, cool story, good concept. And I know in 2005 when this came out, people were talking about how awesome it was, and I thought it delivered. There are a few people who don't like this movie, but I think a lot of people who are fans of horror movies and just good movies in general found something to enjoy in this one. So I definitely recommend this one, but you will jump. If you have never seen this movie, you will jump at these scenes. So yes, leave your thoughts on this movie in the comments below, and I hope you guys liked the review. Thank you, Laserhead, for the request, and that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.